one of the most important aspects of CRM is not just generating the leads and selling to them, but it's actually retaining those customers. And the best way to retain customers is through through a good customer services experience. So and that can generate upsell as well as other things. But just looking at things like creating a case, updating a case, and case escalation. So I'll keep it fairly top level. We'll probably have more webinars on each of those individual areas. So maybe one more focused on marketing, more focused on sales, and subsequently maybe one focused purely on customer services. But I'll give you an overview of this, looking at the different sources, including web, email, and phone. So if I just go back into the system here, and I'm going to go down to a customer services role. Now, in the same way as the sales role had things that were focused on leads and opportunities, in here we're focused on cases, customers. Again, you've got reports, and again the dashboards are more focused on those given items. So you can see, KPIs can be set up on the system, trend graphs about new monthly cases or daily cases, even if you wanted to, reminders, and all this other wonderful stuff that you can have on here, including KPI scorecards. So just to look at some of the options around this, creating a case can be done via web, email, phone. You can actually have external integrations as well. So what we're going to look at is, probably to start with, I'll look at an online form, similar to what we did before, an online case form. So this looks slightly different. And again, looking at the external form that I had, you can have an external case form, like a contact us or a support inquiry contact on your external website. Would do the exact same thing as we've seen before. It would create the case directly in the system. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just create something called help, and it's our friend Lewis Hamilton again. If I can spell Hamilton, I'll put in my email address. Oh, I can't even type my email address. At proficient.co.uk. You can define from your case, you can define which fields you want to have on this form. In this case, it's fairly basic. I'm just asking for some basic details. And then maybe a message. I need my car to go faster. So I'm not sure that's really, well, I guess it is a concern for some people. So I guess just submitting the online form. Now this particular form redirects to, in this case, the NetSuite website. So it could typically it would redirect on the on there to a thank you page to thank you for submitting and letting you know that would come back to them with for follow up. What they will also get is they will get an email. So there should be an email come through. Let me just see if my email has come through. It should come through momentarily. But in the meantime, I just want to go in and see, so that number here, 33 open cases. Oh, I need to just update this, 2 seconds. Subsidiaries, United Kingdom. So just very quickly going in, I'm looking at all the open cases in here. In this case, I'm looking at all the open cases for the UK. And I should see, there's one in here. I should see McLaren. Where's Mercedes? Where is my Mercedes? Oh, there. Hang on 1 second. It should have created that case. Let me just go down and look at a list of cases. So new cases today. Ah, right, okay, sorry, my bad. I've just set, oh, do you know what, it's based it upon the domain name, and it's found my case and it's created them against McLaren there. That's not good. That's just the way I've configured the system, which is not right. So if I go in here, 2 of the things on here that we probably want to just double check here. Now that is actually going against the wrong customer because of how I've got this configured. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to very quickly change that to Mercedes. So you wouldn't typically have the same email address on 2 different customers, but in this case I have. So it's picked the first one there. But what you can see on here is that it's pulled in information which includes on the subject, which was help, and it's pulled in things like the information, I need my car to go faster. It obviously knows the information about that customer. So I'm just going to save that. And if I go into my list of cases, I will see that in there. So I can see obviously all the cases. These ones are awaiting support reply. If I said all, I can see a full list. Now this one is, what I would probably highlight on here is that this one here has been automatically assigned to a particular support rep. It's been assigned to someone called Megano Testiva, who in this case has, similar to assigning salespeople, you can actually define rules in the system around the support side of things, which would automatically, based upon a criteria, in this case that the origin is web, would automatically assign them to a particular person. But you can have lots of different rules, and you can actually have a series of a combination of rules that can actually be assigned, and making definitions about who would be assigned. You don't have to do that, you can manually assign them, but that's part of the communication in there. And in terms of, as well as generating a case, we can also update those cases as well. So in terms of managing communications backwards and forwards, you can obviously track more information in there. If there were specific items, you could do that too. What you can do is, if there's any new messages from the customer, you can put them in here, and you can also say, I will help you make your car go faster. Not a very good response, I'm sure it's, and it can send that back to the customer. You can have predefined templates in here, standard responses with mail merge, you can have that as well. But what you can do is you can have internal only messages, you can copy in additional people into those messages as well. But what you can see in here, if I just save that, I should get an email through to my email address, which will show me not just the response, but also a case history in there. So if I just very quickly, I can see that there was an update case. And if I just pull this over, just so you can see on here, I can see that an email came out, in this case from an email address I've defined as demo@coefficient. And you can see actually not just the response in here, I will help you make your car go faster, but you can see actually a message history. Now, these templates and these email templates and what information you share can be customized, but this is, you know, typical type of scenario. And if I reply to that email, you know, saying thanks, that will track the communication back into the case as well. So if I just went into here and do a refresh, I should see another message appearing in here. If that email hurries up, has that email sent? Possibly. Refresh. That is normally pretty instantaneous. Come on. Oh, there you go. It's come through eventually. It is normally much quicker than that, but it does come through within maybe 30 seconds or so. And you can see obviously that's come back. You can see the body. Well, I had a lot of information in here in my footer, but it's pulled through the message saying thanks. So the email communications can be tracked within that message, as well as updating information directly in here as well, which is quite useful. And the other thing, and I'm conscious that we are probably running over, so I'll probably just show you one final thing in here, if you guys can bear with me, is just some of the management of cases, including things like escalations. So there is escalation management in the system as well, which allows people to, if they needed help escalating something, I could say, well, okay, I need to escalate this from the original assignee. It's going to assign it to me. It can say, I need your assistance. That's fine. Oh, if I can spell. And I can actually put a message in there, which would then go to that person to say, not just, as well as appearing in their queue as an escalated case, you see it's updated the case status to escalated. And it's also put in an additional message in the system here, which has gone, which has gone to Imogen, in this case from Imogen because I'm logged in as Imogen, but it's went to Imogen Wang and sent a message saying, I need your assistance. And if there were attachments, again, they could do that there as well. So you can see that within there's both external and internal communications that can happen, as well as we've seen in sales and any other records, you've still got the ability to create tasks for yourself or for other people. I'll just put one in randomly, as well as creating tasks on the system, which is available across the system. You can obviously attach files, you can add additional user notes. You can see obviously there's some information that goes in there from a system generated perspective, but you can add additional notes in here as well, which are more probably more internal notes for future reference. So you can add additional information in there, and it's tracked against who logged it and when. So I guess just going back to the dashboard and just doing a very quick recap on the customer services side. So if I just go back to the screen here, all we can see in here, customer services, we've created a case using a web form. I could have emailed to a specific email address, and it is worth saying that Coefficient use NetSuite to manage our business. We have a support desk and we manage that through NetSuite, and we have an email address which is support@coefficient.co.uk. And if someone emails that, it will generate a case in our system in the same way as that web form just did. And it does that based upon the assigning or searching on the system of an email address. And then after that, there's the ability to update a case, either directly inside the system or via email communication. And then finally, we looked at the case escalations in there. And that's covered off pretty much what I wanted to do in the webinar.